Mail call. Here, Christmas card from Jill and Rachel.
Oh my gosh.
It says, open now. Oh, handmade.
Handmade.
Wait, where's my glasses? Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh. What is that? Dear G-Pot and Linda, Hart picked this out for your Christmas tree to kick off your first winter as snowbirds. He also wanted to tell you his Christmas surprise. He's gonna be your big brother. June.
Oh my gosh.
Ultrasound. Gary.
Does that look like two?
I think it's A and B. You're gonna be a grandpa to twins. Aww.
Unbelievable.
Merry
That's
Christmas.
a heck of a Christmas present.
Okay, new baby's coming. We're so excited. So up for getting there. We at first thought we'll just go straight from St. Louis to Denver and back.
Easy
And then-
peasy, right, Linda?
Yes. And then one day, Gary says, so, and then he tells me about the Deadwood half marathon that he wants to do. Okay.
We're maybe 300 or 400 miles away. It's right kind of in that same time frame.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
And
we're retired. We can do anything we want. So I rerouted and we went up through Missouri to South Dakota, started in Sioux Falls for the most part, went across the state to the Black Hills and the Badlands. From there, then we went down to Denver and saw the baby. Yeah.
But I think as we step back and we look at South Dakota,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
it's like, we've heard of the Black Hills, we've heard of the Badlands.
Of
we've
course
heard
we knew of
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Is there really going to be anything to do?
Linda got on her computer.
And boy, was there. And what we're going to be talking about, we think, because of our time frame, it was kind of limited, but this was the best of our best, and what we think you should also plan to see as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So here we go. Enjoy.
So we're in downtown St. Charles,
Missouri.
Missouri, our community, and we thought it would be appropriate, since a lot of our travels kind of paralleled the Missouri River, to do this video at the Lewis and Clark statue, since they were, I guess, they were at the forefront of a lot of the exploration that took place
On
in
the
the
Missouri
area,
River, too.
not only the Missouri River, but where we're going to visit.
Yeah.
So where we'd like to start is Falls Park in Sioux Falls. And I think to really start off the trip with Falls Park, it was just a wonderful experience.
It was a cute little park and a really nice waterfall.
Oh, it was amazing. It's just really north of downtown Sioux Falls, and there's just so many platforms that you can view the falls from. And unfortunately, when we were there wasn't a whole lot of water, but there was still
There was
enough.
enough.
There was enough, and it was flowing.
Yeah.
But it's named after, obviously, the city. It's the city's namesake. And it was bigger than what I had expected. It's about over 123 acres. And, it's just to see the water flowing over all the rocks, and you've got bridges that you can cross.
And fish jumping.
That was amazing. Because, you wouldn't expect that in the heart of a downtown city.
Right. I know. The whole thing we were just so surprised. And it wasn't hard to get our RV into that parking lot.
If you're anywhere near Sioux Falls, Falls Park is a place that you really have to go to.
Yeah.
And you won't regret that.
Right. The next day, after staying in Sioux Falls at a Boondocker's Welcome, we headed down Highway 90 going west because we were on our way to the Badlands and the Black Hills. But on the way there, we stopped at a couple of tourist attractions. We stopped at the Corn Palace. Tourist trap.
I think it's okay to do once in your lifetime. The one thing I will say about it is every year they change it up.
Yes.
So,
all the corn husks and corn cobs come off of it every year, and they redo the pictures, the murals that they have.
yeah.
After that, we were heading down a little farther, and we were going to see the Dignity statue, which is an indigenous woman. It's 50 foot tall. It's made out of steel, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And it's at a rest area, and the statue overlooks the Missouri River, which is right behind this statue.
It's really a gorgeous sight.
It is. But we had a little trouble. So they're doing work on the road.
Right. There was so much road construction throughout South Dakota.
Yeah.
Not just in the Chamberlain area, but just throughout Interstate 90. It was terrible.
One lane on each side. So we took the ramp to come back up on the highway. Gary went to get in the merge lane, stay in what we thought was the merge lane, and bam!
There was no merge lane.
There was no merge lane, and there was nothing telling you that there was no merge lane.
We got hit by the back end of a semi, and he was absolutely flying.
Yeah.
And he just kept on going.
So, thankfully, there was minimal damage to our truck. We were okay. The truck was drivable.
Yeah.
We went up to the rest stop and immediately called Highway Patrol to get a report. We called insurance. We were so shook up by it that it was hard to enjoy seeing the statue. So it was awesome. You should stop and see it.
Yeah, it's really worth seeing.
Once we left the Dignity statue, we were headed to the Badlands. We put an extra day in to our time frame so that we would have an entire day at the park. And we stayed in the park. They do have a campground there. And shoot, it was only a few months in advance and I was able to get in with no problem at all.
It's really kind of interesting because you really don't have a slot, so to speak. Everybody kind of parks on the perimeter.
Yeah, inside and outside, both sides of the road, all the way around.
Yeah, so, but I mean, it was comfortable, and
fun.
just to walk out the RV and just see the sights that we saw. I mean, the Badlands, when we were planning this trip, I don't know what I expected with the Badlands, but the scenery there just really takes your breath away.
So there are 18 trails inside the park. We did a couple of the shorter ones that looked like everybody was doing. They were really short. But then we found the Cliff Plate Trail, which is right there on the main drag. See the first two, and then you come to this one. Man, you go back into the rock formations, and there's lots of climbing, which was nice.
Well, when you talk about climbing, though, there's not an ordinary set of steps. It's a ladder.
A ladder made out of like logs.
Yep.
And it's only one way. So some people go up and then other people come down. So it's back and forth. But yeah, so it just takes you up to another level. Where it comes out to is an overlook, actually, of our campground was right there.
But it was about a half a mile hike, something like that.
Gosh, it felt longer.
It did.
But it was a lot of fun. It was really good.
But let's talk about the scenery.
Yeah, we took the loop.
We've been itching to see our first bison.
Yes, bison.
And we finally saw bison, but they were a long way off.
Yeah, and we wanted to go to Roberts, Prairie Dog Town, but we missed it. We turned left instead of right, so we didn't get to go. I was so disappointed. I really wanted to see the prairie dogs.
And I did too, because that's one of the attractions when you go to the Badlands.
It's on the map, yes.
Is the prairie dogs.
Yeah.
And all of the views are just amazing, but after a while, one starts to look like the next.
Oh, we did see some mountain goats
We saw
too.
some mountain goats.
Yeah, but it's like you can take a zillion pictures there. And I did. How many sides? Wall truck, wall truck, wall truck. They're all wall truck.
Do not miss it.
Do not miss it. So we went to Wall Drug. Okay, Gary, what did you think of Wall Drug?
I wasn't too impressed.
Was it worth the 20-mile drive?
Well, I think you have to go there at least once. No matter.
Yeah, to see it, yeah.
I mean,
It's a lot of little
that's my
shops
opinion.
inside this big building, and it was kitschy. Yeah.
I mean, there may be people that's their thing. And,
Yeah.
You know.
It wasn't ours.
I guess it's
but that's okay.
not
We've
ours.
seen it. We came, we saw, we conquered. We ate across the street at Badlands. saloon and grill, and the food was pretty darn good.
It's really good.
Yeah, we liked it.
Yeah, they did have a cafeteria in-wall drug, but really wasn't too interested in that.
Mostly fried foods and beef. But Gary likes chicken.
But I did get to have my picture taken next to a saloon girl.
Yeah. Okay then.
So we had to move. We were out in the heat of the sun, and it was just blazing hot.
I was looking right up at the sun every time I looked at Gary.
So after our really amazing trip to the Badlands, it was off to the Black Hills.
Yes.
And Deadwood and my race. So I think Deadwood was really a lot more commercialized than what I really would have expected.
Yeah.
I mean, you walk down the streets of Deadwood, and you've got all these T-shirt shops, trinket shops. I mean, you name it. But
it's a one-street town. There's a main drag, and then people that live there live off the main drag. But it's the main drag is pretty much it.
But we did walk into the saloon where Wild Bill Hickok was killed. Mount Moriah Cemetery. That was pretty interesting because we got to see where Wild Bill Hickok was buried, as well as Calamity Jane.
Yep. Now, we just took ourselves in. We didn't pay for a tour, but we came to the area where he's buried as a tour group was there. So we were able to listen in and learn some things.
After Mount Moriah Cemetery, we were on our way to Spearfish Canyon, and that's really, I think, quite a hidden gem.
First, we were kind of hungry, so we stopped into Latch String Creek Restaurant, sat out on the back patio, had gorgeous views, and a really nice lunch. From there, we went down to Spearfish Falls. It was a nice little walk.
Nice trail.
Not really nice trail. Yeah.
Beautiful views of the bluff.
Mm-hmm.
And just there was a bridge that was over the stream, which was pretty. I mean, the whole walk was really scenic. So
yeah.
It was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Had pine trees that were shooting up along the trail.
He's so much more descriptive than I am. That's why he's the writer and I'm not. So from there, hop back in the car, went up the road a few miles to Bridal Veil Falls, which you can see right from the road.
It was definitely worth the stop.
Yeah, it's pretty.
But the other thing, too, that we haven't really said much about, just the drive to get there, the drive through Spearfish Canyon was really magnificent.
Yeah, it's just bluffs all the way around you. So now we're here in Spearfish, and we follow a young couple. They go by Adventures of A and K. Shout out, love you guys. And they had been here, and they stopped at Leon's Creamery, and so we had to stop because we love ice cream. And
even though it's the middle of the afternoon,
ice cream's fine anywhere. It's been a lovely afternoon. We've had great weather, and we're now headed back to Deadwood so that Gary can rest before his big race tomorrow.
Okay, it's race morning. It's about 6:15. You can believe it, here in South Dakota, sun comes up before 5 a.m. So, it just so happens that the RV park that we're staying at is actually the pickup point for the buses. So I'm on my way there. It's on the other side of this complex, and I'll be boarding a school bus. So it's been almost 20 years since I've had my last school bus ride, and that was a Boston Marathon. So legs are feeling good. Lynn and I had a couple hikes yesterday, and took a 2-hour nap, and I feel pretty good. I've had this event on my bucket list for probably close to 10 years. They do a half marathon and a marathon. It's extremely well organized. I mean, I can't really say enough good things about it. It's point to point. You run back into Deadwood. Just the scenery was amazing. And it's all, pretty much crushed gravel. And the other thing too is it's just about all downhill.
Nice.
But you start paying for it at the end. Your quads really start to really get a little bit tired. And but yet it was everything that I had hoped that it would be, and it was really just an amazing experience. So scratch South Dakota off the list as my 37th state. So I'm slowly getting there, but This one was a real treat.
The next day, we traveled south to Custer, South Dakota, where we stayed at the Roost Resort, which is right off of the main drag in Custer. It's just maybe a mile outside of the downtown area. Small little RV park, but man, the views.
Yeah, we haven't really talked much about our different places that we've stayed. But this one is really one that really deserves some recognition.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. People that own it and run it are amazing. They also have cabins in case you don't have an RV. They have several cabins to stay in too. So we were only a couple of miles from the entrance to Custer State Park, and then like I said, the other way was downtown Custer. We were kind of centrally located then to visit several different things. We went to Mount Rushmore twice. We went to Sylvan Lake one day, which is just gorgeous. And actually, this lake and the trails around it, I guess, were used in the movie
National Treasure, Book of Secrets.
Yeah.
So Linda has this man crush for Nicolas Cage.
Don't let him fool you. I'm a Tom Cruise girl.
No, but I love the National Treasure series. It was just really cool to be kind of in that same area where the movie was filmed. Linda's got to be around here somewhere. I know we're close to the city of Lost Gold. I talked to Nicolas Cage last night, and he said it's at Sylvan Lake.
Yep.
Oh, look here. Here's an eagle.
Oh my gosh.
And how does that riddle go? Surrender your hand. Ah! I guess that's not it. We'll never find it.
Probably not. So the lake is beautiful. It's not real big, but it's plenty big. We rented a kayak and went out on the lake for the afternoon. We also went on a hike. So we just took our time and enjoyed the area. It was really a nice afternoon.
Yeah,
definitely recommend going there. Sylvan Lake is on Needles Highway. So,
yeah,
you know, we got 2 bangs for our buck there.
I would have to say Needles is also a must-do.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And there's lots of little places to pull over and take pictures and see all the needles. A must-do attraction in the Black Hills is Mount Rushmore. And you have to see it in the daytime, spend a few hours, and you have to go back at night for the presentation that they do.
Yeah,
the lighting of Mount Rushmore.
It really is pretty amazing. And just to step back kind of at the entrance and look down Avenue of the Flags up at the mountain, because like Linda said, all the faces are lit and it's just really spectacular.
And you know, they have a little trail that goes around from the Avenue of the Flags and the viewing platform that they have. It goes around down like under Mount Rushmore, and so they have different plaques in different places that tells about each of the presidents, and you look up and you can see like almost just that president.
But you know, I guess speaking personally, you read about Mount Rushmore, you know, in history books. For me, to be there and just be looking up at, you know, 4 of, I think,
iconic
presidents. It was one of those things that was really a major highlight of the trip for me. All right, we're going to talk now about the Wind Cave National Park.
Which is, sorry to interrupt, but had no idea it was there and what a cool place it is until we started researching what there was to do in the area. I think it's a must-see for sure. And it's a national park. If you have a passport book for the national parks, it's going to get your stamp.
So we were kind of on a schedule. We really didn't have time to do 2 caves, so we just chose the Wind Cave. But we did that in the afternoon. In the morning, we took a drive through the park.
We left our RV site and we came into the park, made a turn onto the Wildlife Loop Road, and started driving through to see all the wildlife. Saw next to nothing.
3 bison, and they were way off in the distance.
So there's these 2 roads, NPS 5 and 6. They're gravel roads. And there were these people in a parking lot. We were like, what's the attraction? There's nothing here. It's just a field.
Just an open field.
It's a prairie. prairie dogs.
Linda got to see her prairie dogs.
4 miles. They were everywhere. So we stopped with everybody else and took a look. But once we turned on NPS 6, they were everywhere. And they kind of talked to us all the way
They did. Pardon me, can you tell me where the nearest bison are? We can't seem to find them. Are they nearby? Just over the hill? Are they that close?
We saw 5 herds of buffalo. We saw maybe 3 other cars the entire time that we were on these 2 roads.
Word of caution, the NPS 6 is a must-do, but the road is gnarly.
Yeah.
It's gravel, it's rutted. In a lot of places, it's really in bad condition. You really, really have to go slow. But that's where you're going to see all the wildlife. The scenery was spectacular, but just to finally see some bison. We actually had one bison that came up and was licking the back of our truck, literally.
Who knew? They like the dirt on your truck.
We made it to the Wind Cave National Park and the cave area itself. And I've never been in a cave before.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think interestingly enough, was it the nature walk that we did?
Yeah, it was the nature tour.
Okay. So pretty much downhill the whole way.
300 or 400 steps.
Yeah.
You go about 1.25 miles underground.
Some of the corridors are a little bit cramped. You really, for us tall guys, you got to watch where you're walking.
So the structure of the cave, it doesn't have stalactites and stalagmites. It has a boxwork structure to it.
It's kind of like a honeycomb formation.
Yeah.
Really, really unique.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with stalactites, that's what you get with a wet cave.
It was very interesting. We were really glad that we went.
And we didn't have to come back up all those steps. We got to take an elevator back up. We did finally make it to Colorado, and we saw our babies.
Got to hold babies.
Yes.
Lots of hold time. Lots of cuddles.
Everybody's doing great, even though they were in the NICU for almost 3 weeks.
They were early. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all good, though.
But we've got Hartman, who's the oldest. He's a little over 3 years old. Then we've got
Albie,
who's also Albie, and then Jackson. And it was just such a treat to be able to spend some time with the babies, with my daughter Rachel.
Your other daughter Sarah.
Rachel's husband Joe, and then Sarah's husband Nick.
For a trip that had not been planned on at all. But as of December, we knew we had another trip on the books.
And leave it to Gary to change things up.
It was fine. It was amazing. Yeah. And that's one of the great things about RV life and being retired is the flexibility.
We hope you've enjoyed this video. We appreciate you following our journeys. I hope that you would give us a like, maybe subscribe. And if you've been to South Dakota, what places have you been to that you've really enjoyed? We're going to sign off.
Wait, I have one more thing. The truck will be repaired on August 9th. It was a far reach to find a time to get them to do the repair, but we're headed off in 3 or 4 more days for another 3-week vacation. And as soon as we get back, they'll repair the truck. We're off again. Dent or no dent. Okay.
Thanks again, and
we'll see you next time.
Look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye for now.